What's up guys, my name is Xana and welcome to a Mario Kart tier list. Now you're probably wondering, it's a Need for Speed channel, why are you doing Mario Kart? Because I'm not ready to make a Need for Speed tier list video yet. I haven't played all the games yet, and I think I should refresh my memory replaying some of the games. So yeah, we're gonna just pick this bad boy up. Let's put you where you should be. Let me just put you right there. And we have the tier list right here. We have our Mario Kart tier list in front of us. It is in all kinds of orders, but I am gonna start by oldest. So we have Super Mario Kart, the very first one, the original. I'm thinking a D tier, honestly. It is not a bad game. It came out in 1992 and it definitely revolutionized the racing genre. It definitely kickstarted that, added fuel to the fire, made it realize it's okay to make games like this. They are gonna sell. And yeah, it joined Outrun, you know, the Need for Speed, later on Gran Turismo, and yeah, it paved the way for these types of kart racers, I guess, as what they're called now, with like, you know, Crash Team Racing and any other, I guess a Mario Kart clone, that's what you would call it. But yeah, we have Super Mario Kart here. It definitely must have been a huge deal when it came out, because for the first time ever, it meant in a Mario game, you could be able to play as other characters other than Mario or Luigi. You know, you can play as like a Bowser now, or a Yoshi, or a Koopa, rather than, you know, Mario and Luigi. The one issue I do have with the game, though, is that, like, the tracks have definitely been the most aged part for me personally, and that the screen is in, like, two parts. You have the top half, which is behind camera, that one. So, and then we have the map, which shows us everyone, which I never felt like it was necessary to make it that big, but okay. And then the tracks, there's like 7 different themes, which it's not really a huge amount when basically if I show you a bunch of footage and, you know, I just kind of give you like a 1-second clip of something, then it's going to be hard for anyone to really work out which specific track that is. So there's not a huge variety in racing tracks. But other than that, the whole package, you know, you had, for your single player, you had your 3 different CC categories, and you had the time trials, and then in multiplayer you had battle mode. I mean, it's not an awful game, again, by any means, other than that every other Mario Kart game after this improves upon the franchise in some way or another. So that's where I would rank Super Mario Kart. So then next up we have Mario Kart 64. Yeah, this is another one I didn't grow up with. I feel like this is a B to a C. For me right now, it's a C. It's definitely a huge improvement. Whoops, hold on. It's definitely a huge improvement compared to Super Mario Kart. For one, now we have a game that is in beautiful 3D, at least the tracks are, whilst the racers are sprites with the camera making sure you're always focused on the correct sprite. It is not three-dimensional, like the characters and the items, I believe, they're not three-dimensional. It's made so that whenever the camera is looking at whichever side of the kart, it is displaying it as if it's like a 3D graphic, when in reality it's just all an image. There's less tracks. All of them have unique themes though, and all of them are also super broken. Yeah, if you look up a speedrun of this game, any speedrun of this game, usually you'll see the tracks being completely destroyed. Which I do think is awesome. You know, years and years of gaming, we've come to the point where, yeah, you can just destroy the fucker. Like, you can just go up a wall. You can just, like, go up some wall to shortcut half of the course, for example. And about the gameplay, like, it definitely has the most fun battle mode that I've never played, but I'm willing to believe. It's hard picking up, though, for me personally. I had a hard time picking it up when I played it before this video. It's just not a game I grew up with. I'm sure that if you grew up with this game, you have like a huge nostalgia for it. You have different opinions of it. Like, yeah, for me, I didn't. I'm sorry. So the next up, we have Mario Kart Super Circuit. This game, I think, is also a C-tier game, just ahead of Mario Kart 64. It feels like a hybrid of both games. You know, you have the flat layout from the first game, and then, you know, you kind of have the sprites and the artwork from Mario Kart 64. And yeah, it's a huge deal as well for this game, because for the first time ever, it meant you could play Mario Kart on the go, like in a car, in like an actual car. You could take it everywhere because of a Game Boy, you know, it being on the Game Boy Advance. And yeah, like I said, it has, you know, I think all the new tracks are great. There's like one or two I don't remember because I just haven't played this game that much. Yeah, it has 20 new tracks, not 16 like there is in Mario Kart 64. 20 new tracks, and it also includes the 20 original ones from the first game, all remade into Super Circuit, which is still like, you know, you have your 67 different themes, tracks in this game also. But it's more content, which I think is a huge deal. I mean, other than that, it didn't really add anything new. The multiplayer was shit. I remember that being a nightmare to set up. I don't have much to say about it, honestly, but yeah, I think I would rank it above both these games. So then next we have Mario Kart Double Dash. This is one of my favorite Mario Kart games as of, you know, the present day. It has been for quite some time. Definitely the most innovative game in the franchise for me personally. We finally break out of only having 8 different characters, always in like this little go-kart piece of shit. And I mean, for the first time ever in the franchise, it's like a pure chaos-driven game. I mean, we have 2 racers on 1 kart. No longer do we have these like shitty go-karts. Like I said earlier, everyone has like their own little kart, yeah, but they're not generic looking anymore. And the same can be said about like, yeah, like the karts and the characters. We got so many new characters, to be honest. It's a great game. You know, it's chaos. I really like the items, even if some of them have been, you know, exclusively put into, because all the characters in this game have special abilities, like special power-ups exclusive to that character. So Mario and Luigi will like barf out fireballs, Wario and Waluigi get like bombs. You know, the toads in the game, well, Toad and Toadette, they get the golden mushroom. You know, these are items that you can imagine the player having to your avail in like a regular Mario Kart game, but I don't really care enough. I think there's enough items to play with and to do stuff with. And yeah, to sum it all up, I think this game definitely sums up the GameCube era the best. Like, I think this still is a very solid game to this day. I think it's aged fantastically. It's just fun. It's a great time. The only thing that kind of bothers me is that there's still 16 tracks, but I think they're all great tracks. And yeah, it was also kind of a first game that, holy shit, voice crack. It was I mean, I don't know, bro, go play it for yourself. I feel like this is a timeless game for me personally. Then next up we have Mario Kart DS. This is the first Mario game I ever played, so you're probably gonna know where this is gonna go. I am gonna put it into S tier. Just loads of fun, lots of fond memories about. Always would take this bitch on the road to school, to you know, on my way to school, you know, maybe on like a holiday or whatever, in like an airplane. Definitely like the controls. I haven't really been talking about the controls lately, but yeah, Double Dash also has fun controls. All these 3 are kind of awkward. And then like Mario Kart DS, although it's a little bit rough-ish, yeah, and it has the snaking, which is kind of BS, but other than that, it's a fun game. It has a lot of content as well. In these previous games, the only real single-player content is either a Grand Prix mode or a time trial mode, and then the battle mode would always be exclusive to multiplayer. But in this game, like, it's finally, like, there's just a lot of content for the player to consume. Like, you have Grand Prix mode, you have time trial, you have a versus mode, which these games should have had. I mean, it's a versus mode in which you can choose the amount of tracks you want in like a round, and then you can pick any track, whichever one you want. You can have it random, and you can have it like a select amount of rounds, so you can have like a total of 7 races in like a Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it. It has great characters. It has, again, like a lot of, you know, unique carts designed around the character. I don't give a shit if it has Rob. Like, I think he has, like, he's a great inclusion. Yeah, before I get ahead of myself, yeah, we have, and then the battle mode, you could play it just by yourself, and I liked it because it was a last man standing type of balloon battle style it had. And then the Shine Runners return from last game, but it's a little bit different. You just have to collect them, and then at least collect one, and the other people will be eliminated if they don't have any shines. And then lastly, there was a mission mode. It had 7 different chapters of mission modes. Per chapter there were 8 missions, and after you've beat them all, you would have to face a boss battle. It kind of sounds crazy that I'm saying this, but I'm not kidding you. That's actually in the game. And then, like, it was the first one to include online as well. I never played it online, but if it worked, it must have been a great thing. And yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked about hacking or anything about these games yet, but Mario Kart DS is kind of where some of it started. Also, a thing about Mario Kart DS is that it included, like, the retro tracks, and although they haven't really been, you know, in that game they're not amazeballs or anything, they didn't go crazy. It's a huge thing, like, you can't overlook it. Like, it's, you know, it's great that you have a Mario Kart game with 32 tracks, and they're all pretty fun to play on, in my opinion. So yeah, great game overall. Then next up we have Mario Kart Wii. A lot of people are really gonna like this game and are probably not gonna like where I put this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm putting it into A. Definitely holds up to this day. It depends on either I put it into A or B. I think right now I'm putting it into A because it just is a big deal. It was a huge thing on the Wii. So many people, I feel like, even if they aren't like necessarily a Mario fan, have probably played this if there was a Wii in the household. I guess I'll talk about like some personal attachment I had with this. Like, I liked the game. When I had it, I played the shit out of it. I liked the unlocking system. Like, it had so many things you had to like just unlock and work your ass for. It was, again, just like a game with a good package in terms of content. Like, you had your Grand Prix, your time trial, again the versus mode in the same style as in the last game. And then the battle mode, although it's a little bit worsened, it is still battle mode in the end of the day. It had missions online. I remember there was a mushroom one where it's just you bouncing on mushrooms the entire time. And there was also one where you had to fight one of the little guys from Mario Galaxy, I believe it was. Cool little crossover, I guess. The one thing that kind of has always put me off from playing this game further is that it just yeah, I mean, you go online and it's Funky Kong Flame Rider or whatever it's called, the Flame Runner, the fucking bikes. The meta in this game is just use inside drifting bikes and you'll always win, and it doesn't bother me because I never really played that much of online anyway. However, like, I feel like it's for the hardcore fans of Mario Kart to still be playing Mario Kart Wii to this day. Yeah, I like the tracks in Mario Kart Wii. I mean, it's just good. They're great. I think they've aged great. Even though some of them have like an ultra glitch on them, like an ultra shortcut, like, it's just fun. Okay, you know. Like, some of them really require skill, and I can't, you know, like, there's nothing but appreciation for that, you know? Like, I think that's cool. I'm not going to be mentioning mods a lot, because I want to rank these based off the base game, but, you know, it still has a very active, loyal community to this game. It has the custom track Grand Prix, which has over, what, like 200 custom tracks are added into the game. You know, there's still a lot being worked on in this game. Like, there is still a lot of areas being explored, and I mean, it's why there is like a 24-player online mode for this game. Like, the game's been hacked to the point where that's a thing. And, you know, I can't just ignore this. I liked it. I didn't play it that much, but when I definitely have fond memories of playing it. So, yeah. Then next up, we have Mario Kart 7. I think for a lot of people, this is just a really mid game, but I think I have about like 1,000 hours in this game. I spent a lot of time doing time trials for this game and Mario Kart DS, because they're both handhelds, that's why. And yeah, no, I played the ever-loving shit out of this game when I was young and when it came out. But now, how do I feel about it now? I think it probably is a B-tier game at heart for me. It's just, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I just played this a lot when I was young, and I think I just have explored every possible area there is, other than custom tracks, which is still a thing in progress right now. In terms of content-wise, this one is again kind of watered down. You have your Grand Prix, your time trial, and then there is no versus mode, so any track you ever want to just single-handedly pick against computer players, you just can't. You need to do the Grand Prix. The only way to play like a set amount of specific tracks in a specific order would be if you met someone and, you know, via Street Pass or whatever it's called, and then in the Mario Kart channel you can challenge that person you met in like an offline duel or whatever it's called, and it would play their favorite Grand Prix, or it would play a Grand Prix of their favorite tracks, which you could customize in like the bio section of your Mario Kart channel area, whatever it's called. And that way, if you challenged them, it would be like 4 specific tracks that wouldn't always be the same, but it would at least be something different rather than like the same cups with the same tracks over and over. Yeah, I think the tracks in Mario Kart 7 were okay, to be honest. I like most of them. The only bummer thing that's like doesn't make any sense to me at all is that we have a Waluigi pinball track, which is a fantastic course. However, there is no Waluigi in the game, so I don't know. That's like you have to attend your own funeral, but you don't even show up. I guess, I don't know. Also, the huge thing about this game, Mario Kart 7, is that it had like a major gameplay change. For the first time ever, we can now go underwater and not drown, and then we can go in the sky and glide. In Mario Kart 8, which I'll talk about next up, I feel like these gameplay changes come less into effect whilst they are still being there, because they're more important in this game than I feel like they are in Mario Kart 8. And then also you have the carts that you can customize, which I think is really cool. Yeah, man, it's just yeah, I think Mario Kart 7 is better than these games, I would say. It's just Mario Kart, I don't know what to tell ya. Then we have Mario Kart 8. I think I'm gonna put this into B tier. I remember being hugely hyped for this game when it was announced, and it looked gorgeous. For the first time ever, we had a title in the Mario Kart series that looked so pretty and looked so impressive. And then the game came out, and I kind of lost a lot of that excitement I had. Like, my issue for the game is mainly the gameplay, like how they changed the items and the gameplay as a whole. Like, I don't mind the physics of Mario Kart 8, but it's definitely not one I would pick over some of these other games. Like, I have a huge problem with the item balancing. Like, I don't hate the fact that it's like based off distance, But that means that, you know, if you're like half a lap in the lead, someone in second place will just get bullet bills and stars and shit. Like, I think that is ridiculous. Like, I think that's an insult to the player who is in first. I wouldn't mind any of that much if the player in first doesn't always get coins. Yeah, like, my problem with that is obviously, I understand that it's for balancing purposes, but it's not fun getting like coin after coin after coin in first place. And especially because in this game you could only carry one item max. Like, if you had a red shell, you could drag it behind you, but it wouldn't like leave your item slot, if that makes any sense. It's just one of the games where it's also, the gameplay is just kind of fucking dull, in my opinion. I believe there is definitely like a huge skill cap, so to say, between like the average player and like a really good player. However, like, there's no crazy glitches, there's no really, like, there's a lot less skill driven in this game, and it's more based off circumstantial situations. But yeah, no, I remember when this game came out, it was huge. It was a huge deal. The item roster is just kind of overkill, in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of characters on this roster that I think are just kind of like, really, that's what you came up with? I think the tracks are fantastic in HD. I like all of them, to be honest. There's a few tracks that I'm like, I wouldn't really choose them, but for the most part, all the tracks in this game I really enjoy. And I mean, I should probably add on to this section that it got DLC. And the DLC, although it wasn't really anything to laugh at, so to say, like, the DLC was a good inclusion, I'd say. Like, it included an additional 16 courses and some characters and some other stuff, some cards and some gliders. And yeah, it allowed crossovers to happen, which meant we had Link and we had Animal Crossing characters. So, I mean, if you're into that, then great. But my issue kind of already started with the roster being, you know, I feel like it should, I don't know, bro, like, there's problems here, okay? There's problems. Alright, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, this game is basically just a beefed up Mario Kart 8. So, I am gonna put it into A tier. It's ridiculous where the game is now with, like, its booster DLC pack, adding another 48 tracks into the game, leaving us at 96 tracks into the game, which I think is ridiculous. I love that. I think that's great. I didn't think they would do something like that, but they did. Yeah, no, this game is everything that I think Mario Kart 8 kind of inspired to be. I didn't really talk about the battle mode of Mario Kart 8. Like, the battle mode of Mario Kart 8 is basically, you have 8 battle courses and they're all still race courses, and in this game we have dedicated battle arenas for battle mode. Yeah, Deluxe 8 is definitely the definitive edition of both games. There's really no question to, like, ask which game you should pick, in my opinion. Like, Mario Kart 8 had the weird fire hopping, it had anti-gravity. I didn't talk about that, but, you know, that's been included, and yeah. And then next up we have Mario Kart Tour. Now, Tour is kind of like its own thing. It's kind of a game you should enjoy at its own pace. I mean, if you don't like it, then that's perfectly fine. You don't have to like it. Just a completely different style of game. You can also look at it this way. It's kind of like a fan service type of game where, you know, like, I'm a huge Mario Kart DS fan. It's the first game I ever played from the franchise. And then Mario Kart Tour has a bunch of different throwbacks from, like, this game. Like, it brings back some of the karts in, like, glorious modern graphics. I mean, obviously the gameplay is a little shit, definitely, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's pretty awful, but the game is free, so I don't know, like, it's fine. I think I'd definitely put it in the C tier row, probably here, I'd say. Yeah, and the gacha, the content, I mean, it has an overkill amount of characters you can play as. I hope some of these characters get added as costumes in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at some point, because, I mean, this surface is probably going to be shut down in a few years from now on. I wouldn't be surprised. And, yeah, Mario Kart Tour, I mean, it's its own thing. You should just enjoy at your own pace. It has the gacha mechanics. Boo-hoo. I think, in like a month's time, you can kind of already, you know, be, like, it becomes less of an element after you've played it for like a month, and it's one of the less disgusting gacha games in my opinion. Like, you don't have to overly wait for like some stuff. You can play as many races as you want. Like, it really isn't as bad as I think people make it out, but it is a totally different game compared to any of these other ones in the franchise. Then Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix. Now, I am gonna kind of breeze over the last few of these games. Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix is a game made by Namco, and it's only made for arcade machines. Now, this means that, yeah, you can only play this in specific public areas unless you obviously pirate the fucker. And even then, there isn't really like a huge haul of content available in the game. I think there is about 6 tracks, and then these karts you see are the only ones you can drive, and obviously because it was made by Bandai Namco, it meant the inclusion of certain Pac-Man characters. I think in this first game it's just Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Blinky that are available to play. I mean, it's alright. It's an okay game. I think it's definitely the worst arcade title out of any of these. This one isn't, but I'll talk about it in a second. Yeah, Arcade Grand Prix, it's just kind of there, to be honest. Then Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix 2. This is the one I played more out of these two. It is again kind of just the same thing. It's made by Bandai Namco again for arcade machines. This time, every character has their own custom vehicle, like their own personalized vehicle based off them. So Mario has this like B-Dasher, Luigi has this like vacuum cleaner, and so on and so forth. What I remember specifically about this game is that if you won like a race, then you could play the next race for free, and I think the one after that and after that. And I think there's only like a total of 14 courses in the game. Could be wrong on that, it might be 12. And then it repeats the 2 from whichever cup you play. But then after you've beat them, it has like its own mission mode again, and yeah, they're fun. They're okay. I mean, it's basically just Nintendo giving Bandai Namco the engine of Mario Kart Double Dash. It's just like, here you go, make something out of this, and I think that's just what they did. So I'm gonna put this into B tier. Then Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix DX. I think this is an S tier game for me, to be honest. This is the most fun I think you can possibly have in any of these Mario Kart Arcade Grand Prix titles. All the tracks are like just beautiful and pleasing. It's a small game, but like it really kind of makes you appreciate what's added into the game. The Japanese release of this game just has an insane amount of content. Like, it has so much shit that, you know, the West, you know, Europe and America just didn't get, which is bullshit. It's fucking bull-fucking shit! But, no, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm just putting into S tier, okay? I enjoy the game. I liked it a lot when I played it. Mario Kart VR is basically just Mario Kart Deluxe, and just, I think 4 of these machines exist somewhere, and then they were never made anymore for some reason. Yeah, it is literally just Arcade Grand Prix DX, but VR. So, I mean, I think it has like 4 characters or something. You can't choose anything. It's just like about the experience. You can drive, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, it exists, I guess. This list is kind of broken, actually. I think I'll probably move Arcade Grand Prix down there, because it's just, no reason to ever play this unless you're curious. And then lastly, we have Mario Kart Life Home Circuit, I think it's called. This one, I am also putting into D tier. Once you used it once, you're probably never using it again. And that's the tier list. I have no idea if I will even edit this and upload it, but if it has, then yeah, here you go. Sorry for the dog shit reasoning for some of these, but in the end of the day, it's all just opinions. And if you disagree, let me know down in the comments. Give me your opinion. Let me know how you would rank these down below in the comments. And I'll read them, argue a little. You know I love arguing. No, and yeah, no, thank you for watching if you made it this far. Share the video with a friend. And peace out!
Okay.
Fuck you!